Justice Southbury is a nonpartisan group, but I'm going to start this rally with some brief political comments. Justice Southbury is a non-religious group, but today we invite our 9th local faith leader to speak to our central value message of love your neighbor. Because Justice Southbury's vision is a more fair and kind community for all, everything we do works towards that vision. So when we discuss politics or governance or religion, we're doing so within the frame of that vision and the questions that it raises. What does fair mean? How can we be more kind without being weak? Who is included in a community for all? And what does it mean to love your neighbor? These questions underlie all that we stand for and speak about, and all that has brought us to this corner for 258 consecutive Sunday afternoons. This past week included the end of the first 100 days of this presidential administration. And I'd like to start this rally by reviewing a prediction made a few weeks ago to see if it still stands up and if it aged well. 11 weeks ago, at rally number 247, I offered these remarks. A few words about our country 4 weeks into a new presidential administration. An administration so far characterized by cruelty, chaos, and corruption. I said, we'll speak a lot about this in the future rallies, but so what? What does that have to do with Justice Southbury? I said our vision is a more fair and kind community for all, and so far this administration has neither been fair nor kind, nor has it offered a community for all. So what to do, I asked. What is our path forward? What is the way out of the chaos and the cruelty and the corruption? I suggested that the Constitution could lead the way and show us the strength of opposition to that type of a vision of government. But the Constitution requires enforcement. It requires vigilance. I asked 4 weeks in whether we thought that Congress was going to act as a check on cruelty and chaos and corruption. And I didn't think so, and neither did you. We wondered whether the courts would, and so far, they've done pretty well. So far, there's a lot going on. Not everything that we've wanted, and certainly there'll be questions about enforceability. But so far, a lot of what the administration has tried to do has been blocked, at least by order, has been blocked in courts. The press, we have continued to see over the last 11 weeks more and more media outlets and press outlets that have been silenced or considered being silenced or being compromised by the difference between a corporate directive for profits and not to tick off a federal government versus those of the writers and the people who actually want to tell us what's going on. And I suggested ultimately that if we're going to restore the rule of law, as Monica suggests, that it's going to be up to the people. That the people need to speak truth to power, to show up, to speak up, to lean in, to not give up, and to get up. And since then, in those 11 weeks, the cruelty, the chaos, and the corruption have persisted. In fact, it seems like they're constantly doubling down on all of that. The cruelty is the point. The chaos is the method. And the corruption is the side benefit. But Americans have shown up, have spoken up, have leaned in, have gotten up for fair over unfair, for kind and loving over mean and hateful, for a community for all, not just for some. So it's imperative that we continue week after week and broaden our conversation to do all we can to increase whatever exists of this persuasive footprint that we have so that we can continue to be a beacon for shining a light on all that is fair and kind and that generates a community for all. So thank you for continuing to support that vision. Our speakers today are daughter and father, both of whom have spoken here before. Please welcome back graduating high school senior Grace Walkup and her father, Reverend Garrett Walkup.
Hello everyone, I'm very happy to be here with you all today. So what I'm about to read for you is my college essay that I wrote to be admitted and sent off to a bunch of different institutions. So this is my college essay. My name is Grace Walkup. I'm in grade 1 and I would like to be the first woman president, was what my misspelled art class poster said in red, white, and blue letters. I had it all planned out. If I were to persuade my family members and friends to vote for me, I would indeed become the first female president of the United States. I believed it was that simple. I read biographies about Eleanor Roosevelt, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Hillary Clinton, and was fascinated by their success to base my campaign after what they accomplished. I also read extensively about American history and was appalled by the gruesome era of slavery in our nation. You know, light topics most 7-year-olds read before bed. By reading history books, I pondered as to why not all people were treated equal. As a middle-class white girl who has never faced much oppression in her life, it troubled me that not all children lived and thrived the way that I did. I couldn't comprehend why some were treated in a manner different from others, because equality was preached in my household. My dad was a pastor who often spoke on how everyone is created in the image of God and to love thy neighbor. My family were considered pillars in the church, but some took my father's message differently. As our nation in 2016 became increasingly politically polarized, my family thought that we should move on from our congregation and be true to our beliefs. I'd like to assume that most people have one pivotal moment that changes them for the better. And I believe that while I'm only 18, I think that the moment that my family left the church and my father quit his job, it forever impacted my perspective on what it means to stand up for others. And from this moment, I made it my mission to advocate for anyone who has experienced prejudice. My nonfiction books on slavery from 2nd grade turned into history papers on the civil rights movement in middle school. And then my junior year of high school, I created a passion research project and analyzed how racial bias exists within our justice system. I had the incredible opportunity to speak with all of you multiple times. And in my school, I advocate for integrating more books written by female authors into English school curriculums to help diversify what students are learning. I now understand that equality comes in different forms, and the idea of love thy neighbor is going to be interpreted differently. And this interpretation can be complicated by prejudices in a social system that suppress people seen as minorities. As I face the daunting task of deciding with what to do for the rest of my life, I am confident in my ability to bring attention to the issues our world faces. I want to give a voice to the voiceless and stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. And while little Grace might be disappointed that she will not be the first woman president, I hope she knows she will do great things.
Woo! Yeah!